Hey guys, what's up? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, first off, thanks so much for stopping by. What I do is every day of 2024, I vow to check out a new band or artist. Check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on those songs, give you my ranking of the songs, and then of course my overall thoughts on the artist based on what I just heard. Today's artist was a suggestion from one of you kind viewers, so thank you so much. Please go down to the comments, leave me other suggestions of bands or artists I absolutely need to check out. And as you can see right there, today's artist is Alex G. Now, good last initial aside, what do I know about Alex G? I literally know nothing. The person that suggested this didn't give me any sort of vibe check. Usually I'll ask if it's something I've never heard of. Unlike most of these, I'm going in completely cold. So let's dive into Alex G. Alright, so this guy released a lot of music. So based on that, he's either got to be into hip-hop or bedroom pop. Because yeah, he's got a lot of albums. Going back to 2010, which was when his debut album Race came out. I checked out the song Things You Do from that album. I was asleep for days and nights. Okay, so bedroom pop I guess wasn't far off here. There is a little like child sounding vocal for the majority of the song, which I did not like at all. However, it doesn't start with that or end with it. It just kind of takes up the majority of the song in the middle. When it started, I was like, oh, musically and vocally, this kind of sounds like Into It Over It. For all my elder emos out there, you might remember him from Philly, singer-songwriter, played emo-tinged music in that realm. That's kind of the vibe I got when it was the normal vocal anyways. So let's get to the good and the bad. So the good, the lyrics on this track ruled. Like, so clever. I was like, oh my god, this is a debut. This is going to be a great listen, at least lyrically, throughout these songs, so that excited me. What didn't excite me was starting off with a 44-second intro. This song is barely 2.5 minutes. We do not need a 44-second intro. Next up, one of Alex G's most popular songs is a standalone single called Treehouse, so I checked that out. Okay, so this definitely says it's an Alex G track with a feature, but he doesn't perform vocally on this track. There's a feature by an artist named Emily Yasina. I have not heard of her either. She takes the vocal duties, and I'm guessing probably the lyrical duties as well, because these lyrics are a major step down from the last track I heard, unfortunately. They were pretty metaphorical, so I enjoyed that aspect of it, but they were overall kind of basic after I was so enamored with the lyrics on the last track. The music was like a cool lo-fi pop sound. It had a lot of synths in it, which was a departure from the last track, which was just basically like acoustic guitar driven. But yeah, I like a good synth used well, and I think it was used pretty well here. Next up from the album Trick is Alex G's most popular song, Mary, so gotta give that a listen. Okay, so I've made it clear already in this video, didn't dig the long intro. I also don't like long musical breaks in songs, and that's what this track had. This was by far the longest of the 3, clocking in over 3 minutes. But yeah, a lot of that was as a result of long musical breaks, which I didn't feel like we needed. Overall, musically, I'd say it's like a combination of the last 2 tracks. There's still kind of that lo-fi pop feel to it, but there's also like some acoustic guitars that are leading the way. The vocals on this track were my favorite that I've heard yet on an Alex G song. Obviously, the first track had that little child-sounding vocal, didn't dig that. Emily on the last track was pretty good, but Alex G definitely is more pleasing to the ear on this track, in my opinion. But the lyrics are still kind of meh, so maybe it wasn't Emily that wrote the last track, and maybe Alex G just found a different lane after that debut album that he wanted to play in. Alright, Alex G's released a lot of music. I've said that already. These 3 songs I checked out were all in the top 5 tracks on Spotify, so I made sure to give them a listen. Now I'm just fast forwarding to the newest album, God Save the Animals, which came out in 2022, and I checked out Runner off that album. They hit you with the Roller magazine. Love the melody on this track. It reminds me of that song Runaway Train, which was one of the first songs I was ever obsessed with as like a 6-year-old. And given the title of the song Runner, I don't think that's on accident. That being said, the repetition in the lyrics on the back half of this track really felt like a gut punch to me. This was like a perfect track. I really love the lyrical content again. The melody and the vocals were just perfect for me. And then the repetition of lyrics, like I said, just felt like a gut punch. All right, so those are 4 tracks I checked out from Alex G. Let's go ahead and rank them. At number 1, I'm still going with Runner. Yes, there was the repetition in the second half that I said felt like a gut punch. But again, that was just because the track was so perfect leading up to that point. It was more disappointing than anything. That I was like, this is perfect. This has some issues. That perfect end still won out overall. At number 2, I'll do Things to Do. Yes, I didn't like the majority of the vocals on this track, and vocals are usually really important, but so are lyrics. And the lyrics on this track were so far and above the other 2 tracks. And honestly, when we don't get that vocal and we're getting the regular Alex G vocal, I really enjoyed that. Like I said, being an elder emo reminded me of Into It Over It, and probably some other, singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar, emo artists that I never listened to, like Death Cab for Cutie or Bright Eyes. So if you think I should check out those artists, leave them in the comments below. At number 3, I'll go Treehouse. This music was really the one that stood over and above the others as far as difference maker. The first 2 tracks that I've ranked above were kind of acoustic guitar driven, which I really like me a mid-tempo banger, so that's why they're there. But nothing else even really played in this realm at this level. Mary was kind of lo-fi pop, but it also still had that acoustic guitar leading the way, so the music of this one just stood out and gets at the 3 spot. And at 4 is the aforementioned Mary. No problems with the song overall. I would still listen to it on a regular basis, but it just doesn't do anything to outshine the other tracks. Like I said, musically, it's a mix of Things to Do and Treehouse, and when it's a mix, you're kind of just blending in some things that work, and it just doesn't work as well and stand out as much as on those tracks. I couldn't in good conscience put this above something else, but I still enjoyed my time with it. Alright, so those were my ranking of the Alex G songs I checked out. So what are my thoughts on the artist overall? I think Alex G is super talented lyrically when he wants to be. Again, unsure about Treehouse, maybe that was Emily written, but still on Mary, the lyrics were kind of basic. I did like the metaphors when he played in that realm, but when he had the strong lyrics, he was still using the metaphors, but also giving me more to chew on. The music, I could not be upset with it, whether it was the acoustic guitar on Things to Do that I was loving, and it returned on Runner, my favorite of these 4 tracks, but he did some extra like finger picking at the beginning that was super impressive. Really dug it. And then of course that lo-fi bedroom pop sound with the synths. Jeff's kiss. Alright guys, that was my thoughts on Alex G. Like I said multiple times, leave some comments below of other bands or artists that you absolutely think I need to check out. I'm doing one of these every day. This is the first one past 100, so we're just going to hope to keep choogling along, and this is the first step towards 200. So I hope you stick around with me on this ride. And the best way to stick around is simply if you cut my wrists and hit subscribe. Emo Cat Dad signing off until tomorrow. I want to hear you sad.